Thank you. Um, if you've used any of our textbooks for a little while, you'll notice that they do introduce some financial skills. Um, Not at the lowest levels. So levels, the intro one levels usually don't have uh, any concrete uh, things like finances introduced. There may be a little bit about renting or buying something. But in the higher levels, definitely they incorporate some financial skills. The thing is that they're very general, and a number of our students could use a little bit more prompting. On the other hand, I've also had a tutor say, my student doesn't want to talk about this stuff with me. She doesn't want to answer my questions. And he said, so we're having a lot of trouble talking about renting an apartment because she doesn't want to share any of this information with me. And I finally said to him, why don't you create imaginary person that she can use with all the information so she can use it to have a conversation about the materials without sharing her personal information with you. And he said that that had worked better for them. So that's something I'd like you to keep in mind when you're teaching from the text. Um, okay, so back up a little bit, Lisa. My name is Lisa Morse. I'm the Pittsburgh East Program Coordinator. This is my contact information. The slides will be available to you after the conference is over, so don't feel like you have to take really good notes or anything. I've been with Literacy Pittsburgh since 2015 when I joined as an ESL tutor. In 2016, I became the part-time tutor trainer and shortly thereafter added the Pittsburgh East area on to bring my time up to full-time with the agency. By the following summer, I'd grown the area enough to justify it being full-time, and I've remained quite busy here since. Before I came to Literacy Pittsburgh, I worked as a substitute teacher, got my K through 12 ESL certification. I taught fourth grade for 3 years, and I tutored students of all ages, including adults, as a volunteer. Even before that, I've been around a little while. Even before that, I worked as an administrative assistant, and I completed a Master of Arts in Teaching and a Master of Arts in Slavic Languages and Literature. So I have quite a varied background. Um, I find that all of my experiences to date come into play from time to time at this job. This is the most exciting job I've ever had. It is not ever the same from one day to the next, to the point that my mother still doesn't understand what I do. When I told her it changed every day, she finally went, oh, that's why I don't know what you do. It's very varied. Um, so, as I said earlier, seems to me we all need financial skills. We all probably need to improve our understanding of finances. It doesn't matter how old we are, where you were born. Many of us, myself included, leave at least some of our finances to somebody else, right? In my case, my husband does most of our finances. I'm very grateful because it stresses me out so much. Um, but nonetheless, most of us think we have an adequate understanding of how our choices impact our future. Some of our students, for whatever reason, don't have much information on financial institutions, and or the way banking, taxes, income work. This course that I'm going to show you would help introduce them to these things. What I'm going to share with you is a complete package of a course. And I am not at all suggesting that you would be teaching the whole course. What I am suggesting is that when you come to something in the textbooks that you can tell your student needs a little bit more work on, you might come back to this resource and pull in one or two lessons. So let me tell you about this curriculum. It was designed for middle and high schoolers so they could learn financial management. It's absolutely free. I heard about it at a training I went to and started to look at it and thought, this is not as dry and unpalatable as I was afraid it might be. When I shared this conversation I'm doing now with one of my tutors, she said, this really does look kind of interesting to me. So that gives me a little hope for it. The curriculum is called Money Skill. It was created by the American Financial Services Association's Education Foundation. So it's about as well recommended as I can bring it. I haven't looked at all of the information, but it seems to be fairly reputable. Otherwise, I would not be sharing it with you. And they really did create it to educate consumers of all ages on personal finance concept. So it's very inclusive of a lot of different information. It has 37 modules plus some supplementary resources. Each module contains a pre-test exam. It also contains a short video and then reading, lots of readings with embedded questions that it self-corrects. If you want to go that route, there's an instructor registration and a class dashboard. I'm not going to suggest that anybody do that. What I'm going to suggest is that you preview the curriculum with your student. It gives you access to basically the same information without all the hassle of grading, which we don't, expect you to really do. We're going to start by just an overview of what's there, and then I am going to take you to the website, and we're going to listen to one of the videos and go through one of the readings, just so you can see how it works. Okay, so this is the instructor login page, and you can see that you can create your own new account. I suggest you do that just so that you have access to it. You don't have to do anything with it, but that allows you access to the back end of the system where you can preview all the curriculum. This is the way that I am currently accessing it. When you go click on that link there, it takes you to a form to fill out that's very basic. Asks you your name, the school or organization you're a part of. Just put Literacy Pittsburgh. If you want a department, put Pittsburgh East. Put your coordinator's area. Doesn't really matter. For the website, put Literacy Pittsburgh's main website. And the registration was almost instantaneous for me. This is what I see now when I go into the website. It welcomes me. I have one class made. It has 3 students. I'm not even sure who they all are. I could go and look, but since I think 2 of them are me, doesn't really matter. This is the side that I want you to pay attention to. If you want to create a class, that's up to you. I just think it's a lot more trouble than it's worth. When you click on resources here, these are the 3 sets of resources that they have. The instructor handbook, which will tell you how to use this website in the way that they intended for classes to use it. I'm not going to preview that with you because I think it's unnecessary. This PDF here contains additional links to things that you might find of interest, and we'll take a look at what it is later. And then this contains some other YouTube video links and some discussion questions that go along with them. If you decide to use anything from here, please make sure that you preview it before you actually share it with the student to make sure that it's appropriate. They would allow you to do a little bit more, delve a little bit deeper into a subject if your student is particularly interested. Under the, under the preview curriculum, this is what you see. It's a list of all of the modules. So you can pick the one that you want to do. I've already gone through the textbooks for you and picked the modules that I think coordinate to the modules or coordinate to the lessons that are in each textbook. I know that I did a fairly cursory glance at our textbooks, but I did find something for almost every textbook level. Feel free to use whatever you think might be useful. This is the way that I normally access a particular site. I click on the blue here, and we're going to do that in just a minute. And then watch the video that pops up and then go through the lesson. Make sure if you're doing this over Zoom or another platform that you share audio when you show the videos. One of the things that was mentioned earlier today is that we have digital classes. We have computer labs that are open to you as well as your student. So if doing any of this digitally is complicated for you, please take advantage of our computer lab open hours. Your coordinator can help you find that information on our website or on the LP. It's on the LP student website. I'm not certain that it's on the LP tutor website, but contact your coordinator if that's something that you want to attend. You're more than welcome. All right, we're going to take a look at some of the units. Means that I'm going to stop sharing briefly, which requires me to talk out loud as I figure out exactly what it is I'm doing. I apologize, but I've discovered it's the best way for me to make sure that what I'm doing is what I want to be doing. All right, let's see. I think it's here. Oh, nope. Let's be over there on that one. Try again. Okay, now share. Okay. So this is my login screen for Money Skill. And as I said, this is the first screen I see, but we're going to go look at the preview curriculum. And if you are teaching the student in Spanish, it's fine to do this piece in Spanish. In general, the state wants us to teach our students only in English. So I'm not going to tell you you can't share this part with your students in Spanish. I'm just going to say, please make sure that most of your lessons are done in English. That's what we ask you to do, is teach English. So we're going to look at the English curriculum. This is sort of the introductory curriculum, introductory piece, and we're going to look at this one first. But as you see, you could do the consumer life cycle, federal income taxes. You know, there's just a lot of different topics. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you. It's just not worth it to me. We are going to watch this first video, except that I forgot to share sound. So let me go back and do that. Okay. The plans we have for our lives. Crystal, can you hear it?
Throughout our lives, there are many inflection points. Small decisions create larger outcomes, rerouting our personal journeys and impacting our futures in ways we didn't expect. One such inflection point, though perhaps more obvious, faces each new generation of Americans in today's ever-evolving world and employment landscape. Is getting a college degree worth it? Will a degree pay off in the long run, or will I be saddled with debt I accumulated to earn knowledge I could have gotten elsewhere? In this module, you'll learn about 3 high school students and their unique personal, career, and educational goals for what their individual futures hold once their final year of school has come to an end. While some might envision rather traditional collegiate paths, albeit with differing end destinations and future goals, others might begin work immediately and avoid further education altogether. Who's setting themselves up for success? Does heading off to college give you a leg up? Or will entering the workforce immediately bring greater benefits right away? The truth is that it's a lot more complex than that. And this module will help you begin to see how each decision a person makes affects the overall course of their story and journey through life. By exploring the pros and cons of each of their individual roadmaps, analyzing the outcomes and opinions of older family members at differing points in their own personal journeys, and identifying key factors on the road towards security and success, such as simple financial rules of thumb, you'll be able to discover some of the answers, or at least begin to think critically about how you might find them. In this module, you'll learn whether there's a payoff to getting a college degree, how decisions at one stage of your life affect others down the road, why saving money gets easier and harder at differing life stages, some of the serious problems a lack of financial planning can create, why financial planning is common sense, and how to make that planning simpler. Let's get started.
So one thing that I've discovered is that the video, which you can also watch from this screen, basically goes over this very first page, the intro page for this module. So if you are someone who really hates videos, it's not necessary to watch the video. But for most of our students, a video is more accessible. So for them, I would definitely encourage watching the video and then talking about, did you hear all of this during the video? These are the things that we're going to learn in this module. I see this curriculum as being very much a way to work on reading something that will be of use to them. So when I clicked on the next piece, we're coming to the meat of this particular lesson. There's an audio, so if your student is an auditory learner, you can play the audio along with reading it. For today, we're going to do that just so that I don't have to read the whole thing out loud to you. I want to go through this page by page because there are questions at the end of each one. I want you to see how this works.
Lisa, I'm just seeing your desktop.
Zeta is sitting around.
Sorry, really?
True about
Yes.
workers with.
Okay. Let me see what the problem is.
Oh yeah,
Is that
sorry.
true
I thought
for
you were just I thought you were just sharing the audio. Sorry.
No, I was trying to share everything. Okay. It was a video, so let's go back and see.
I also sent you a message at the beginning that I couldn't see any
I am
videos.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Was,
I'm in the chat. I can't
You
see
didn't
your
see it?
message. No.
maybe it went directly to me. All right.
It
share
says it's a
sound.
direct message, but
What do you see now?
I see the screen.
the plans we have for our lives and 4 choices.
Okay. All right. We're going to go back because
Zeta is sitting around with 2 of her best friends, Mario and Tyrell, in the den of Zeta's home. They are talking about their futures. All 3 are seniors at Edgemont High School. Zeta and Tyrell plan to go to college the following year, and Mario plans to work in the heating and cooling industry because he doesn't want to wait 4 more years to earn a living. As a junior and senior, he has been enrolled in a career and technical education program at Edgemont that will result in his certification as a heating and cooling technician. Zeta seems to have a pretty good idea about her future. She wants to go to college in part because she knows that in our knowledge-based economy, education pays. She also knows that not everyone has access to college in the same way she does. Despite the various obstacles and avenues to college pathways, Zeta knows that workers with a 4-year college degree earn substantially more than those at the same age with a high school diploma. They also have lower unemployment and poverty rates. After she completes her 4-year bachelor's degree in accounting, she wants to work for a few years and then go back to graduate school to get a master's degree in business administration. With the additional education, she plans to move into management positions and eventually find an executive position. Zeta plans to get her first new car and a decent apartment when she graduates from college, but she wants to wait to buy a house until she finishes graduate school and starts a family. She would like to have 2 kids and hopes that she will be financially secure enough so that either she or her spouse can stay home with them, at least until the youngest is in 1st grade. She would like to retire by age 55 to enjoy life while she is still young.
So you can see this is a fairly usual way of describing somebody's path through life. It's followed
Which
by
of the following is true about work?
disabling that. Which of the following, it's followed by questions about it. So which of the following is true about workers with higher levels of education? I'll take anybody's answer. I guess I have to answer it.
I'm going to say D.
I'm going to say D too. It will give you feedback on whether your answer is right or wrong and restate the statement that would be in the text. So here's another set. Tyrell wants to be a teacher when he graduates from college and hopes to marry another teacher so they can have their summers off together. He wants to start his family young so that his children will be through college when he is about 50. When he has children, he plans to go back to work as soon as his paid leave is over for each child. While he would enjoy being a full-time dad, staying home with his children until the last is of school age, he realizes that decision would change his family's financial picture. He expects to make a similar salary as his spouse, so I'm not going to read all of this. I think we can answer these questions without reading it because we are educated adults. But you can see how this is going to walk them through it. So what's the disadvantage of Tyrell staying home with his children until the youngest is of school age?
He might not be B. I'll say B.
Tyrell and his spouse might not be able to retire as soon as they would like. And that is correct. So this next one talks about Mario and Mei Fu, who plan to marry, and talks about a middle-income married family and the costs of children. So why do Mario's parents want him and Mei Fu to wait a long time before starting a family? What do you think?
Probably B.
I would say B.
Well, probably. I would say B. We hope they like Mei Fu. So it's important to have savings if you have children who are expensive to raise. We do know that, most of us. I hear Crystal giggling because she's got 2 young ones at home. So 3 of them are talking to somebody else who at 31 is struggling to pay his bills and experiencing financial difficulties. Tyrell thinks the main problem was Chris's student loans and credit card balances. So let's see. Which of the following does not contribute to Chris's financial problems? The fact that he graduated from college, the expensive lifestyle that he has, the interest rate charged on the debt, or the amount of debt he owes?
C.
A.
I'm going to say that it's A. He graduated from college. That's not, even though he's paying for it, that's probably not contributing to his financial problems. This says, although he has student loans to repay, the fact that he graduated from college does not contribute to his problems. And the college degree is a financial plus that allows him to have a higher paying job. So you can see that this is not always totally straightforward. So Zaida's mother is a financial planner, and she goes through and creates with Zaida an imaginary financial plan. Maybe not in this session, maybe it's another session. But why does Zaida's mother say that most people have a lifetime financial plan, even though they don't know it?
Maybe B.
I would say B, even though.
So, yes, because I think you can say, if you look at this the way we were taught to look at test questions, we know if we've been to college that you do not have to have a financial plan to be accepted into college, right? We know that hopefully most of us have not been through bankruptcy and have not had our plans decided by the courts. And I think most of us have not been to a financial planner. So it must be B, right? And this says most people have some idea of what they want their future to look like, right? So we do have a rough lifetime financial plan.
Can you answer one wrong? Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I can. I'll answer the next one wrong.
Okay.
So Zaida's mother offered to get her her laptop to show their financial plans, even though they didn't know they had a plan. She added that in her practice, about half the clients encounter unexpected obstacles the first time they do their plan and end up needing to make some changes. So, which of the following family types is least likely to experience unexpected obstacles in a financial planning simulation?
Let's pick A for our incorrect one.
Okay, so you don't think it's A then? Which one do you think it is, just so we know?
Least likely to experience unexpected obstacles.
Right.
Least likely. So A does not feel like that is least likely.
I agree.
It seems like an expensive life.
Certainly does. Living on what you've got. The answer, they say, is B.
Okay, so it will correct you. That's what I was wondering.
will-
It would give you the right one.
Yes, it will absolutely correct you. And it gives you the same paragraph explaining whether you're right or wrong.
Mm.
All right, we're just going to zip through these. I happen to know the answers, having done this one at least twice. So there is a little bit math. Wait, I should have done that with you. Go back. There's some math that needs to be done here, right? According to her calculations, the 30-year mortgage for $190,000 at 6%. When we come to the numbers, my brain goes into freeze mode.
Mhm. It
But
started
there is a
fluttering, yeah.
calculator over here.
Oh,
So
that's helpful. When
yeah,
in the app.
right in the app, that's right part of it. So that would allow you to demonstrate. See if I did this right.
Yeah, then you can divide by 100.
I did it wrong. What do I do now?
Yeah, divide by 100, I think, is what you're trying to do.
Yeah, didn't work.
Yeah,
Let's try it
that's your
again.
6% amount.
I know I did this before.
Times 0.06.
0.06. There we go.
Yeah, 0.06.
That gives us 6%. Okay, so that was right. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
I told you, math, my brain turns off. Okay.
I get it.
So this particular plan right here could be something that's really eye-opening to a student. You know, might not be, but so if Chris had put down more money for his house, say 20%, what would have happened to his monthly housing expenses? They would have decreased.
And then
Yeah.
I think too, this is something where I can definitely see a lot of correlations if you're trying to teach percentages, for example.
Yeah.
To like bring
Right.
like a little segment like this in. maybe not the whole lesson, but like you can like borrow from some of these scenarios if you're trying to say like,
Absolutely.
here's how we do, percentages.
Right.
Which we've
Yeah, I was really trying to tie this into the reading curriculum that we use, but for sure, there's for sure you could tie it in with the math. As a non-math person, that would have felt really difficult for me to go through the math sense books and find the connections, but they are there for sure. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of our calculator for now. Okay, but you can see there's more math that can be done here if you
Mhm.
wanted to do it. It gets into, just in this very first module, it gets into a little bit about taxes, which again may be a bit of a mystery to some students. Um,
I would say probably, I mean, a lot of people in general, I think it's like it can be complicated and a little daunting, even just to look at all the words. Okay, there's 2/3, and then there's 2/3 of 90%,
right.
and so or $90,000. So it's like it seems like there could be like weeks worth of
I think
material
this
here if
could,
you're taking
yeah,
expansion.
right. I think you could expand this a lot, but I also think you could keep it simple
Hmm.
if that's what your student needs, right? So I can see this going a lot of different ways. I want to get out of this particular module. If a company advertises a job starting at 46,000, it is the gross amount before taxes and benefits are taken out. Okay,
Which is something not everybody might know.
right. Well, and that's part of the reason that I think all of this makes sense to do.
Hmm.
To avoid getting into financial difficulty in the first place, there's a simple rule. What's the simple rule?
I mean, I would say D. I don't think
Yeah,
they're telling you would never be able to borrow money because
no, they're
sometimes
not.
people
They're
have to
just
borrow
saying
money.
you can't always spend more than you make, right? You can do it for a little while, but you can't do it forever. Oh, we made one mistake. That's okay. So as you see, we didn't do this as an individual thing. We did it together as a group. We still were able to do all of the pieces of the module. Um, so if we did that one with our students and it turned out that they were considering buying a house, right? Then we could go and we could look at owning a home, which goes into more detail about what happens when you own a home. Or we could look at renting a home. So there are others that might come into play depending on what our student needs. Preparing to acquire a vehicle. Some of these are things that we've done in the past. In my case, we bought our house 30 years ago. So I don't really know a lot about buying a house today. This is fairly new material.
Hmm.
They've kept it pretty close to, my friend that I went through it with said the interest rate on the house was about 7%, which is not that far off what interest rates are today. So this is not too badly out of date. Now, I want to go back and show you the resources, just so that you can see what sorts of things are available here. These are the supplemental teaching activities in a PDF. So just give me a second while I open it. Crystal, can you see Money Skill again, the picture?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
You see people?
Hmm. I
Okay.
see four
So
people standing over an iPad.
thank you. Thank you. So for instance, in the plans we have for our lives, this is the first module we just watched. Look at all of the related learning activities that you might want to talk about with your student or that your student might need help with. Let's be frank. How about the credit card payoff calculator? This is one most of us could use at some point in our life. Or how much does it cost to raise a child in the US? Each of these takes you to some other resource that would provide more reading and more conversation around the topic. I like that this is all in one place because when I go to Google, I'm not sure really what I'm looking for sometimes. And this has it. The other piece, this one, the supplementary video links and discussion questions, really goes to YouTube videos. See, come on. Allow it. Allow it. Okay. All right. And there's one for each module. So again, there's a huge number of these that might be of interest to your student. All right, let's see. I'm going to stop sharing and I want to hear if you have any questions because I know I threw a lot of stuff at you.
I'm going to
Partly
stop
that-
recording for any questions. I didn't see anything pop up in the chat. So if with this size group, maybe it's okay if people just ask them. I am going to stop recording right now.